So I'm going to see if I can get through this video without crying, okay? This time last year, I was in a hospital room with a husband that could not see. He couldn't talk. He couldn't walk. He couldn't go to the bathroom. He couldn't feed himself. He was like an infant. And the doctor said, you know, he's not going to make it through the night. He couldn't see. They said he wouldn't get his vision back. His kidneys were shutting down. Numerous tests, and I don't know. He can tell you more about his experience, but I'm just going to tell you about my experience, okay? My entire life, I've been a control freak, you know, because I have been in situations that have harmed me, that have taken advantage of me, that have manipulated me, that have frightened me, and I've always felt like I need to control the situation to make sure I don't get hurt. And although I know the Bible, I read the Bible, you know, I can give you scriptures, and I can talk, and I can tell everything. There was a part of me that was not fully able to take my hands off of everything, you know, and say, you know what, you do it, because I can't do it. I've never been in that point in my life. I've always felt like, yeah, God, I trust you, but just let me have my hand in it a little bit, you know. But being in the hospital with him was the first time I've ever been able to sit there and say, there's nothing I can do. You know, I can't have my hand in this situation. You're going to have to do it all because I can't do anything. That has been the first time I've ever been able to fully give everything to God and say, you know what, I trust you and you're going to work this out. You know, because I can't, you know. And so since that moment, it's been easier because, you know, I see the things he can do, and I know his plan is always better than mine. And although I've always known that, when you see it firsthand and you experience it firsthand, it's a completely different experience, you know. And you know, when you go through something bad like that, you know, where they're like, he's not going to make it, and it's so traumatic, you're like, he can't work. How am I going to pay these bills? How are we going to do this? What am I going to tell my kids? They've already lost one parent. Like, I look at all that now, and if I could go back and change anything, I wouldn't change a thing, because everything in that moment has just made everything so much stronger for us now. You know, the doctors were wrong. He did get better. He is almost at 100% recovery. And, you know, even when man says no, God can say yes. I don't care what door a man shuts in your face. When the Lord has something planned for you, it is for you, and can't no man stop that. And I've always known that. I've always felt that. But seeing it firsthand, it just kind of shook me up a little, you know. And I remember a couple people that I barely knew reaching out to me when Marcus was sick. And just their kind words has led us into developing just this awesome friendship. And you never know whose life you can change. You never know who you come in contact with. You never know that even in those moments of crisis, there are still seeds of opportunity and growth that can lead to something beautiful. I just felt so defeated this time last year, and now I just feel so much hope, because I know my plans, I know his plans exceed my plans way more than I ever expect them to. Even after we came home from him being in the hospital, I feel like we were still taking blow after blow after blow. I was like, why are we in this difficult season? I still felt like that a few months ago when the house flooded, but it's been easier for us, I think, because we have seen firsthand the goodness of God. You know, we have seen what he can do in that moment, and we know to get our hands out of it, that he's going to work it out. I remember crying and praying and praying and crying for months, wanting to quit my job, because I was working 18, 20 hours a day, my business and my job, and I just couldn't take my hand out of it. I couldn't trust that God was going to take care of me, that this was what I was supposed to do, that that was what I needed to do. And I had been praying and praying and praying for months. And we went to church, and Ben preached a sermon that Sunday in October. And I was like, that's what I've been waiting to hear for months. That's it. I'm quitting tomorrow. And I quit October 13th. And I said, you know what, God, I don't know, but I trust you. I trust this is what you want me to do. I'm finally, and I don't know if I would have that strength if I hadn't went through all that with Marcus, So that's why I say I wouldn't change some things. I don't know if I would have all this strength during this flood and just being hopeful that everything would work all out if I didn't go through that with him. I don't know if any of this makes sense, and I hope it does. I hope it makes sense to you. It makes sense to me. I'm done talking now. Bye.